Welcome guys, this is Edwin, and today we're going to look at a piece of history right here. This is the Benchmade 970. That's right, this is that collaboration between Benchmade and Ernest Emerson that created the first CQC-7 in production, right? So very, very cool. And if you are not aware of it, Benchmade back in the 90s contacted Ernest Emerson regarding creating a production version of the CQC-6 that is very similar to this model right here. And you know, in terms of tanto, chisel grind, and all that. So Ernest told him that he wants to keep the CQC-6 as a custom only style of model, and that's still the case right now. But he was willing to create this design, the CQC-7, and that's the design that he showed to Les, and that they went ahead and produced it through 1994 and 1998. And in this case, this piece right here, I don't know the exact date on it, but we know they were built between 94 and 98, so keep that in mind. Also, from my experience, okay, a Benchmade similar to this was my first exposure to an Emerson design back in 1997 that I borrowed from at that time, my boss, that he let me borrow it for a month or so. And at that time, I did not know who was Emerson, but I kept it in my to-do list to follow up and check and start learning about this guy because I love that chisel grind. I fell in love with that tanto, okay? And let's compare with the production Emerson knife tanto of the CQC-7. These two knives will be very, very similar, but you can see that the Benchmade has a more pronounced or more aggressive switch right there compared to the production Emerson knife CQC-7, okay? But other than that, very, very similar, okay, guys, in terms of dimension and all that, you know, let me show you right here. Very, very similar. Both are liner locks and all that, so a very, very cool design that has been around for a long time. Let's look at this beautiful blade right here. Like we mentioned, you have that switch right there, the beautiful American tanto. This is a chisel grind, meaning that it's ground on one side and then on the other side is flat, okay? And then you have your classic, now that we know, Ernest Emerson style of chisel edge right there in his productions. In this case, you can see you have some serrations right there. And one peculiar thing about these models is that those serrations at that time, they were blackened as well, okay? You will notice that Benchmade USA logo and that old school butterfly Benchmade logo with the Balisong words in it. And of course, another of the signatures regarding this style of model is that you have on the back the Emerson logo with the Spec War model CQC-7, okay? And if you're not aware, ATS-34 is the steel. This is the Japanese equivalent of 154 cm that is still used in the production environment for Emerson knives, right? Construction is that old school G10 that, guys, I love. I love this old school G10. Feels great in the hand, okay? You have the classic Emerson constructions, right? Of having that backspacer. In this case, you can see that backspacer is kind of a plastic material, I will say. So, you know, it's not G10 and all that, but you know, it's back in the 90s. You cannot ask too much for that, right? And of course, one thing that is a little bit like, oh my God, is that it's not using the classic simple screws that we are used and accustomed of Emerson knife right now, okay? I think this one is a T10, then T8, and these guys are T6s, I think. I need to check, okay? Like you can see, we have that Benchmade clip right there, 3 screws clip, just very similar to what we have right now. So that's pretty cool, okay? And of course, you know, that classic Emerson construction, no way, but you still have that jimping there that is pretty aggressive, okay? This one is definitely more aggressive to what you get right now in productions. I prefer the settle one from Emerson knife, but be aware, this one is a little more aggressive right there. You definitely will feel it grabbing your hand or, you know, your finger right there, no problem. And guys, other than that, a classic design. Another thing to bring up and mention, right, is that, you know, in that grind, right, you will notice how the Emerson knife goes straight, and this one you have that curvature right here, okay, from that grind. So very peculiar, something you will find in those Benchmade 970 models, okay, so be aware of that. But other than that, this is a classic historic piece, one of those pieces that I'm very happy to have in my collection. And again, if you have any other comment or information, feel free to jump in the YouTube comment, Instagram, okay, or anywhere, Emerson groups, ECOC, or Emerson operators, that we're always there talking knives and having a blast. Again, guys, this is the Benchmade collaboration between Benchmade and Ernest Emerson, the BM 970. The CQC-7 from 1994, 1998. You guys stay safe back there. Bye.